This is off-grid money, off-grid in the Pacific. This is one of the big things in off-grid, especially in the Pacific, that we make or we don't think of when we come over here. And this has costed me a lot of money. The amount of money it's costed me, unbelievable. And it's not thinking ahead. And you know what it is? It's about the weather here. And that has costed me a lot. And the reason why is because of the weather, on how humid it is here in the Pacific. In the Pacific, it is so humid that rust forms just like that. So when you have got a tractor, a vehicle, a trailer, or anything like that, you need to keep it covered. This is one of the mistakes that I have had to deal with, and I have not fixed just yet. I'm going to tell you what mistakes that I have done that is going to help you if you have ever or wanting to come out into the Pacific and live off grid, or actually just stay here and live the island life. So this is one of the mistakes that I did. What I will show you is these photos of my vehicles, tractors, what they were before and what they look like before, brand new, even a trailer, and what they look like afterwards. And here we go. And as you can tell, there's one vehicle behind me, and the people that have followed me on this channel will know that over time this has become a rust bucket, but it is still going and it's still doing what I need it to do. But what I need to do in the future is to be able to stop this rust, and for anything that I buy next, I need to do is buy a cover, or do an awning, or a garage, or something to cover my vehicles, tractors, or whatever else I will buy in the future. But what have I bought in the past? I bought a tractor. It cost me $18,000 US. That's with all the implements, slasher, the digger, the backhoe digger. It had a slasher, backhoe digger, had a tiller, had the front end loader. So I had all these implements, and where are they now? There's some out in the front here that have just gone to rust. So as you can see, this was my plow. And look at that rust, guys. Unbelievable. But yes, unfortunately, it was left out in the weather. And this is what happens. This is my sickle slasher. And this is my rotary tiller. Look at that rust. Look at this guys, just falling to bits. See that? And this is what happens here in the Pacific. If you don't look after it, treat it, put oil on it, some kind of protection, this is what will happen. Especially with all the new built stuff that's come from overseas, especially from China. The steel's not that great. Some steel is and some steel isn't. Of course, what you're going to buy is cheap stuff, and that's what's going to happen to it. As you can see, well, the nice decent pieces of metal, that's not cheap. Rust hasn't gotten into that, where the big solid pieces of steel are. But where the nice thin pieces of steel, it's all rusted away. So guys, this is what happens where you don't protect your gear. You don't protect your gear. You don't build a covering or a garage for it. This is what's all going to happen with your vehicles, or anything that's made out of steel. That's what happens. What else has happened is I've had issues with my roof rusting. And why? Because I wanted to go cheap. Bought all the when I bought my tractor from China, I put all some steel sheets in it, roofing sheets in there, and I put that on, right? When I put that on, that in how many years? 5 years? All rusted, gone skis. So I had to renew the roof. What I've put on now is steel from New Zealand, but I think it's just from China, but it's better done because it's New Zealand standard. And as you can see, also here, my trailers, they're all rusted. I've got a trailer that has totally, completely gone. That's just rusted to the ground. It didn't even make it back home where it broke down. So I left it at a mate's place. But as you can tell, it's just rusting away. I put this is a boat trailer. See, this is what's left over. That's new. That's what's left off of my other trailer. That's all I got left of it. There's part of the tray on the back of the trailer. That's all I got left. And I only brought that because of the tow ball hitch. That's the only thing that I could actually basically get off of it, and also the two tires with the axle that was any good. So I'm just going to give you the amount of money that I've spent, and I could have avoided all of this by doing one thing. I could have avoided everything, like all of this waste. And I'm just going to give you the amount of money, amount of dollar wise that I have wasted by not covering my materials or covering vehicles. So there was one vehicle here that I sold for $5,000. I swapped that for a V8 over in Australia, but I put like $3,000 worth of $4,000 worth of a body lift, not a body lift, a suspension underneath this vehicle as a 60 series Land Cruiser. I ended up selling it because it was rusting away, and if I didn't sell it then, and plus I needed the money at the time, but if I didn't sell it then, it would have just rusted here into nothing, because I didn't have the funds to be able to get it all welded, taking all the rust out and get it fixed up. So give it to someone that can, and they fixed it up and they've got it running. So that vehicle, probably around about 10k it costed me. 10k for that vehicle. This one behind me costed me $15,000 Australian. This is all overseas, so 10,000 for the other vehicle, 15,000 for this. The tractor cost me all up $18,000 US, with all the implements and the tractor. So that was a fair bit of a chunk of my money. And even if I just left the tractor and built a decent garage, it wouldn't have costed that much. What else have I got rusting away? The trailers. Bought that trailer over in Australia for about $1,000. Not much, but say this, let's say around about 25, 35, 45, 50 grand, $50,000, guys, that I have wasted because I didn't build a garage. I didn't think about this till recently, and I'm like, there's a lot of money that I put in vehicles, tractors, trailers, all the implements, and I could have avoided all of that getting rusted and just withering away by building a garage. If I just took a bit of that money and built a garage out here, or at least put some roofing over the top, put some poles up, steel poles, and put some timber up, put some roofing over it, at least do that so I was out of the weather. I'm gonna give you guys this other tip. There's one other tip. Sorry. is over here in the Pacific, the dew is relentless. The dew just comes to the body of the vehicle and sits there, and it causes rust. And if you're out in the bush like this, it's even worse. Because in the morning there's a lot of dew over the grass, and it's always all on the vehicle as well. But if you had it covered into a garage, there will be no dew on it. That could cause rust. Also, the sea water over here, from the sea, sometimes there's strong winds that come through. So there'll be salty water in the air, salty sort of like humidity in the air, and that will cause the vehicles to rust as well. And that's pretty much with anything metal here. If you leave it in the bush, plants start to grow around it a little bit, the dew gets into it, and then pretty much nature's just gonna take that back. You got that rust you got that metal still from the ground, it's gonna go back straight into the ground, and it's just gonna disintegrate to nothing. As you can see, there's rust all the way through the bull bar. And then you have got rust through there. Rust where the mud flicks up and stays. That's pretty bad. Rust here. Rust there. And also, there's a lot of rust forming on the roof. Bull bar's not too bad because it's pretty solid still, but it's getting there. Someone's reversed into something. But then you have all the rust through the doors. And so there's 3 windows here, they don't work. It's all rusted inside. Rust through here. And then where I've taped it all up there on the top, that's all rusted out. So basically that tape's just holding it and trying to keep the water out of the vehicle. Yeah. Over in Australia, I've got a 4-wheel drive over there. I bought it in 2020. Yeah, probably bought it in 2020. It's a Land Cruiser, 100 series. This is a 105, that's a 100 series. That has hardly any rust. My daughter just sold it recently. That has hardly any rust. You put a vehicle out in Australia, no problems in the open. It'll take forever for that to rust. Keep on using it, no problems. And you put it through car washes and whatnot, and that's fine. But over here, no. It's gonna rust real fast. It starts to have a little bit of a spot of rust somewhere, bang. The cancer starts eating through your vehicle, eating through that steel. It will just go through it, no problems. So what would you recommend, or what would I recommend, is building a proper garage, putting all your vehicles, implements, tractors, whatever you have, put that in the garage. And not only that, at least wash it once a month. At least wash it once a month over here. And if you've done some massive 4-wheel driving, just pay someone to come and wash it from underneath, or wash it yourself. And spray a bit of, I don't know, just put some normal oil, engine oil, in a spray bottle, and just spray the bottom of your vehicle, just to prevent underneath from rusting as well. There's one other thing over here, not many Tongans do over here that well, is on Pacific Islanders do that well, is maintenance on their vehicles. Keeping up with maintenance. They don't do that. They don't go by what the manual says. There is no manual over here. They buy second-hand vehicles, bring it over, and wait till it breaks. Once it's broken, fix it. Once it's broken, fix it. So there's no preventative maintenance. And that also you can prevent from rusting and breakdowns and whatnot. But yeah, preventive maintenance will be preventing rust on your vehicle. So if you see any blotches of rust, straight away grind that rust out, bog it, paint it. Even if you just paint straight over it with some rust paint or whatever, just so it doesn't rust. That's the best thing you can do, because once that rust starts, it's just going to eat through like cancer, and it goes through real fast. I came over here in 2023 back from Australia. This vehicle wasn't that rusted. I mean, it was rusted, but it was like, it was the beginning of rust. It's 2 years on now, and this has gotten pretty bad. Like, it's eating through this vehicle real fast. So now, what do I have to do? I'm going to have to cut all this rust out, and I don't know if I'm going to have any vehicle left. I don't know how much it's going to cost. Probably cost me $5,000 worth of rust repairing. Trying to get someone to do some panel beating on this vehicle. The money I don't have. So, and if I'm going to do that, I'm going to have to build a shed. Some kind of shed to be able to put my vehicle in. So, what I recommend is, if you're coming to live off-grid here in the Pacific, anywhere in the Pacific, that you've got salty air, you got salt in the air, winds come blow through, puts on the vehicle. But there's not only this. We have also, I've got to go to the main island with the vehicle sometimes, and we're on a ferry. On a ferry, and sometimes we have bad seas, bad weather. There's salt in the air already once you're going over to another island. But then when you got bad seas, there's waves coming and hitting against the boat and splashing over your vehicle. And you have to straight away wash it once you get over to the mainland or back over here. And sometimes you forget, or sometimes you just put a bit of a bottle of water on the windscreen so you can see properly, and away you go. And then it rains, and then yeah, it's washed enough, but you don't know what's underneath, where's the salt water getting into. You need to do it straight away. So this is another thing that we also have a problem with, is going over in the ferry with a vehicle. As soon as there's a little bit of exposed metal, the paint's chipped off a little bit, salt water gets onto it, rust starts to happen, and then voila. So there's my tip and my massive mistakes that I've done over here. No preventative maintenance, and not building a garage or a shed for my vehicles. If I had done that, I would have avoided selling my other vehicle. I would have avoided paying $5,000 to repair all this panel beating and all this rust right here. I would have already had a shed. I don't have the money for the shed, so I don't know. I should have done it in the first place when I had the money. That's the first thing I should have done, because we were living out of these vehicles. I had a rooftop tent in this vehicle. We're living out of that in the weather while we're building this. What we should have done is built the garage first. Massive garage. Put the vehicles under there. We could have at least had shelter under there as well, and then built the house. Or, if not, build the house, then build the shed. We weren't able to do that at the time because we ran out of money as well, but I should have only brought one vehicle over and spent the other amount of money, build a shed. Should have saved some money for that. Lessons learnt with that big mistake. What I'm dealing with now, anything that comes over needs to be sheltered. Anything, whatever it is, except from probably your water tanks that are plastic. That's about it. Everything else needs to be sheltered. If not, it's just going to rust. Alright guys, there's my tips from Off-Grid Money and off-art to use. But don't forget, subscribe, like, and share. That helps me, and hopefully it helps me provide you with more videos. Alright guys, take it easy. God bless.